All right, guys, I've been in the garden harvesting some onions and it got me thinking I should do a little garden update. So I thought we would do a walkthrough of the garden this year for spring, see how it is. It always changes a couple of times over the season, but there's lots of things up in the garden and it looks quite pretty. So let's have a look through and see what's growing. If you are new here, know that I love chaos gardening. So there's a lot going on here. It's a chaotic environment, but it's a beautiful chaos. So let's just start with a walkthrough from the back end of the garden. Over here we have tomatoes, and you're going to find tomatoes. This is a big theme. Tomatoes are everywhere. I went crazy with seeding tomatoes this year, and I seeded like I was going to the farmer's market, which I can't this year. Work has just had me far too busy, but I have so many tomatoes, I was just trying to fit them in everywhere. So you're going to notice tomatoes is probably the single largest theme here. There are a ton of them. I'm slowly adding new tomato cages because I don't even have enough tomato cages. New this season though are a lot more metal rings. These are an investment I have made in the garden space. This helps me for two things. One, right off the bat, they're just nice to look at. They really make add some levels to the garden and it's really pretty. But because my garden gets a lot of wetness in the season and at different times, and it's never the same time each year, it can be so unpredictable and hard to plant. So going with a raised bed allows me to control the water a bit better in soggy areas. So that's what's going on. You're going to see a lot more raised bed containers, especially near the front of the house, and I'll show you my new area in front of the house. So in this area, it's our kind of our native plant section where we draw in the bees and the pollinators for the rest of the garden. But the mountain mint has literally taken over. It's become a super enthusiastic plant. It really likes this environment. It's funny because it took me 3 years to successfully grow it, and now I just can't get rid of it. It's been well behaved for the most part. It did pop up down in here, but I can easily take it out, and I'm using a lot of mulch to keep the weeds down. You know what, you'll notice it's not weed perfect. And that one there, that's Agara. And there was a couple of other native plants, but they've kind of been taken over. This one here will be muck sunflowers and won't be present until the fall. In that container and in the pools, we're growing some corn. Excited about that. It actually looks really good this year. Strong growing seasons. We're off to a really good start so far. That can change. Many times it has, but right now we are doing great. And then over here, this isn't actually corn. This is sugarcane. So this is a fun one. I've never grown this. I've attempted to grow it once before, but it wasn't a great success. But this year, again, it's looking really good. I have a separate video on this one. That is our little nature station. It's a place for frogs and lizards to hide and sun, and also with a bit of water for them as well. So that's a separate area just for nature. This is, I think, our third season growing in the pools. And so far I've only had to get rid of one pool, but you guys will notice that they are breaking down a bit. They will not tolerate me leaning on them. So if you're thinking about doing pools as beds, they can work just fine, but they do eventually break down. You can see that one's breaking down a lot more. There used to be one in here and I had to replace it. It broke down completely. The plastic eventually breaks down pretty good and it's no longer functional. I think having these thicker ones and not leaning on them makes a huge difference. I think these guys will last still quite a while longer. These are some of the first metal raised beds that I've ever planted, and I got them specifically for strawberries to get them off the ground. The challenge is the strawberries keep escaping. They're super enthusiastic growers, and I don't really want them on the ground because they're a really great environment for snakes, which are very common here. So this is a problem for me, a gardening problem that I have. You're welcome to send me your ideas or share with me any ideas on this one, because I really love growing my own strawberries. But keeping them contained is a bit of a challenge. And keeping them contained in a way, like strawberries only have a 2-year lifespan for fruiting. So you kind of have to replace them. So you need the ones that are growing off of them. I could easily just weed them out, but then these guys are the ones that had all the fruit on them. So it's a bit of a problem, but one that'll be solved. This is an example of an area where I let nature decide how I planted it. This had cucumbers last year. This year it had so many native plants that I just decided to decorate it. I put in a little tiny rock path. I added a cute little rock turtle. I moved the tractor in from another area, and I've turned it into just an area or space for nature. It'll be beautiful once the flowers bloom. We'll have to do a later video for that. It's full of milkweed in this pool in here. And I'm really hopeful one year some of that milkweed will provide a great space for the monarchs for eggs. This is a crazy batch of carrots along with some black-eyed Susans in there as well. The carrots need to be pulled, it's their time already, and then I'm going to switch over to pumpkins. That's what I'm going to grow in this container, but we're ready to get these carrots out. Probably that will do that today. I had this giant water oak volunteer in the middle of the garden, and I don't have the heart to take it down. An oak provides so much life to nature, and it gets hot in this garden. I don't think it would hurt from a little bit of shade from an oak tree. Plus, I'm not so sure in my time that it'll be, you know, that big, maybe. I don't know. But right now it's staying. I kind of like it, but we'll see. So this giant bed is new. This is the result of us redoing our porch, pulling off all the beams of our porch and replacing them with new beams, and me wanting to repurpose them into the garden, into an area that was awful for water. So this is one giant raised bed. It took me a truckload of dirt in order to do this, and it was an immense project, but I'm super happy to have it because now I've got dill growing, I've got a bunch of onions. The potatoes are starting to look like they're ready, like they're yellowing now, so that's probably pretty good timing. Some of my tomatoes have taken a bit of a wilty hit. I'm not sure what's happening there, but other ones look great. But it's got a row of tomatoes in there and then some squash in the front. So this was a fun one, and I'm actually really glad because it's going to produce a lot in the long run. Look at those onions. They look great. Tomatoes in multiple different places are doing so good. I'm really excited about the tomatoes this season. I'm growing a lot of varieties. In true Jollean fashion, I'm growing a ton of varieties. But the ones I think that I'm most excited about are the Japanese trifle. I'm trying them again. If you saw from my other video, it's supposed to be the best tasting tomato. It's actually Russian. It's not Japanese. But I'm going to try it again. I tried it last time in that high heat in the middle of the season. This year I'm starting off this season with them, and I'm excited. It's a very pretty tomato. I'm also growing super sauce. It's supposed to be a large tomato, able to make like a can of tomato sauce off of one tomato. Like, I'm excited to see how big these guys get. Some standard ones, beefsteak, mushroom basket, Wisconsin in there. There's a whole bunch of different tomatoes in there, but I think those ones I'm really excited about. Bobcat is another one I'm excited to grow as well. And again, tomatoes, more tomatoes. You're getting the theme this year. But 2 more of those raised beds. These have quite a few tomato plants in them, obviously because I have too many tomato plants, but I can see tons of blooms, and also there's all kinds of fruits starting to form. This is a baby Baba okra. If you've seen my videos on this one, you guys are aware of it, but baby Baba grows a smaller plant. It's only maybe 2 feet tall in height and grows a prolific amount of okra. It's all I need. I don't eat enough okra to have, you know, a couple of rows of that 10-foot tall okra. This plant is amazing. Baby Baba is all I will grow for okra. This is a Tomarillo plant. You guys saw my video on this. This is a 3-year-old plant. It smells like gasoline. The fruit is terrible, but I keep it alive. I don't know why. For those that are new, we are a no-till garden, so I'm not tilling here. I do the weeding by hand and or by dropping down some mulch. These are a zinnia. I can't remember the variety. Look at this little guy sitting on the zinnia. It has volunteered itself. It's a bit of an enthusiastic zinnia that will come back each year if you let it grow, and can become a little bit weedy. It's not native, but as you can see, bugs still like it. Not everything is perfect here in the garden. This row is under development, so we are going to work on putting down some black plastic, killing off these weeds, and I'm going to do a raised bed row in here. A lot of water comes through here, so I think raised beds is really honestly the theme for me. The more I can raise them, the better they do. Green beans taken off. They're doing lovely this year. Last year they were terrible, very sad. Something ate a lot of them, so this year I'm thrilled. And as you can see, more of that zinnia popping up. It's a pretty weed, what can I say? This is a whole lot of spaghetti squash. I love a good spaghetti squash. Last year, same thing. They didn't grow very well. Last year was a terrible year for my garden, so you probably hear that a lot. But last year they didn't grow well, so this year we are trying to make a comeback, and they look beautiful. Things aren't perfect here. This is a grape plant that we got from Tai Nurseries. It was so awesome. It was a tasty green grape, and I killed it with fire ant poisoning. So just a warning, if you're putting out fire ant poisoning, be careful around prize plants. Very sad to see it go. I really need to harvest some kale. It looks absolutely beautiful this time of year. Got some pepper plants in between them. But it is time to take in some of this kale, and I think I'll bag some, put some in the freezer, and then make a couple of sweet salads. This tour has resulted in me learning that there are peas available for picking, which I'm excited about. Typically they don't do super well. It gets really hot here fast, and I never plant them at the right time, but I should get a bit of a handful here from them, so that's exciting. Herbro remains awesome as ever. The lemon balm dies back every year, so I replant it. But tarragon, mints, my chives, all doing amazing in containers. I moved the oregano into containers, does great. Rosemary I can't get enough of for my focaccia bread. So sage, it has its moments. Sometimes it does well and sometimes it struggles. So herbro, whatever you want to call it, is one of my favorite, and it's close to the house. Originally when we first grew it, I grew it farther away, and now it's close to the house, and that's been the best decision. This is the new butterfly garden. This is a 3-year project. We started a video for this last year on how we're developing this, because we put a lot of thought into nectar plants, host plants, and for all kinds of different butterflies, and also for our bumblebees as well. This includes a ton of beautiful native plants in here, a mix of them that we're just so excited to start seeing pop in. I didn't even notice this one today. That one's new. You're pretty. Look at you with your little ruffled edges. Lots of coreopsis, which the pollinators do love. Back in here is its first year is a baptisia. I'm really excited about this. It gets very large and will be a very nice prominent display within the flower garden. This is gaillardia or blanket flower, and can fill in as it goes along. That's year 3. Things will take off. Look at the little dragonfly. He says this is approved. That one there is a Turk's cap. I'm excited to see it come back. Some of these plants I planted last season and I've forgotten that I've planted, so it'll be kind of like what is old is new again. This is another baptisia, and this will be a giant coneflower. And I'd have to say giant coneflower has been one of my favorites to add to the garden, not just for the plant, it's like the flower itself, but because of its like shape and form as it waits to produce this beautiful flower. It's kind of got a dusty color to it. We have had frogs in our little in-ground pool down here, and we planted a little bit of horsetail in there to produce some oxygen in the water. And I highly recommend keeping that horsetail to a container. It can take off outside of a container for sure. It's a native though. So for those of you that are like, oh, bamboo, it's actually a native one. I said last year that I wanted to turn this into a space that nature just surrounded me, because sitting on the porch is my favorite thing to do with a cup of coffee and just enjoy the sounds of the birds and the bees floating by. Frog hotels up here. So this is kind of my little world. So what I've done is added new containers in here, all raised beds, 4 of them. Plus I've moved some of the cattle panel, or the cattle bins into here, and planted a mixture of vegetables and native plants. So already you can see the bees are buzzing around. They are just loving it. I have squash started growing, tomatoes back here, and I've documented every tomato in each container. So I'm going to be able to really get a handle on which variety I have, which typically I'm terrible at, and how they taste and how they perform. Not that my taste buds are overly grand, but it will still be an interesting project for me to see what tomato turns out well and which one doesn't. So far, all the growing conditions are the same, and all of them are doing really well. I did have Indian pinks planted in here, but no luck so far in them coming up, so I may have to try again on those ones. These are some Brussels sprouts that probably are about done. They're not full size, but some of them aren't too bad. There's some in here are really nice. Yeah. This Swiss char has done amazing. It's a 2-year-old plant. It made it through the winter and just it flourished this spring. It's been great. And it still has a ways to go here. What I'm hoping for is we've got vines planted, native ones too, that will grow over top of here, then kind of closing in the space a bit. We've got a trumpet vine, which is a native one planted on this archway. And this one has coral honeysuckle on it, which is a native as well. And it'll have tubular flowers that the hummingbirds really love. So I love how this space has evolved over the years. I've always done my seedlings. I used to do them just off the side of the porch. Then eventually I put in a little table here and I stood here and did it. And then I added a chair and now it's become an office space. So I really love how things just kind of get better and better over time as you create your own spaces. Majority of the stuff I add or modify with, like the table came from a garage sale. The little shelf you see here is from a garage sale. Like a lot of it was pretty darn cheap. The only thing that has, some major expense to it is probably the raised beds. All right, you guys, that's your update on the garden so far. Super optimistic about this season, but there's still this heavy heat to come yet. So we'll see how the garden does through that. Let me know in the comments how your gardens are going this season so far. And as usual, be friendly, be kind.